Luka Doncic has officially had his revenge game against the Dallas Mavericks, and this actually came in his return to Dallas. Playing against them now in a Lakers jersey was definitely a different scene, but this historic performance needs to be talked about. I'm your host, Joey Mercer. This is another episode of Joe Mercer's Sports Podcast. And before we get into it today, I just want to thank everybody who has supported the channel up to this point. And to make sure if you are watching this content, to go down below, hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and every single time I upload here, you will be able to stay up to date with all of my takes on the NBA and everything you need to know about it. So without further ado, let's get in the article at hand today by the Dallas Mavericks section of Sports Illustrated titled Luka Doncic Makes History in Mavericks-Lakers Return to Dallas. He torched his old team, and he most definitely did. That great game was absolutely crazy to catch up on. I live here on the east coast of Canada, so I had to catch the game this morning as it was on a time that wasn't really suitable for me, but let's get right into it. In a highly emotional game, Luka Doncic dropped 45 points in his homecoming against the Dallas Mavericks, becoming just the second ever player to score as many for and against a team in the same season. He joined Wilt Chamberlain, yes, Wilt, who did so with and against the Philadelphia 76ers in the 1964-65 season. Crazy right there. Whenever a stat comes up and it's like since Wilt Chamberlain, it's usually a absolutely crazy number, in which it was 45 points. He outscored Max Christie and Anthony Davis almost by double in that matter right there. They had 24 points combined. That would have been 48. Obviously, he had 45. But right there around being double the two players that the Mavericks received for Luka Doncic in that trade. He actually talked out a little bit more about how people have talked about how he doesn't care, he doesn't show enough interest in the game, and his lack of conditioning, and he took offense to that greatly, as Luka has looked nothing but on his A game since joining the Los Angeles Lakers. See here, it says his 45-point game matches season high as well, as marking his first 40-plus point game with the Lakers. Clearly, he saved his best for this particular occasion and was able to manage his killer instinct through the feelings. The win was also important for LA for their postseason push, securing them a top 6 spot in the Western Conference playoffs and allowing them to skip the play-in, which is also great. I mean, not having to play the play-in, being in the playoffs guaranteed, definitely something you want as an NBA franchise in the position that the Los Angeles Lakers are in. So, great news as well coming from that. However, I heard as well that Nico Harrison, as well as the rest of the management and owners on the Dallas Mavericks, are now in some severe issues. I won't talk too much into the politics of what I've heard through casinos, things like that. I'll leave that be for now. However, they're set to lose tens of millions of dollars over the next few seasons, and that's no surprise. I mean, who's going out and buying an Anthony Davis jersey over buying a Luka Doncic jersey? Nobody's buying Max Christie jerseys, so this is not a good situation business-wise for the Mavericks either, and they're also losing more games. There's more injuries. There's no guarantee that they're going to make it back to the finals this year, and I don't think that they will for sure. See, now it says, throughout the night, Mavericks fans could be heard alternatively cheering for Doncic, their own team, and for the firing of GM Nico Harrison, whose baffling move has turned the once loyal fan base completely against the current front office and ownership. The Mavericks even honored Doncic with a kind of greatest hits of his time with Dallas, during which he cried. It was a legitimately heartbreaking affair for Mavericks fans, as well as for Doncic himself, who was moved by the vocal support. And obviously we know that Dallas drafted Luka Doncic. Well, they acquired him in trade, actually. He was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, a one-for-one deal for Trae Young, who then went to the Hawks, and he's been there ever since. Started off playing with Dirk Nowitzki, oddly enough, and then he's been there ever since, being traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. An absolutely crazy move for an injured Anthony Davis who's on the wrong side of 30, and then you have a young guy like Luka that the front office just didn't really seem to gel with. That's a very interesting take for sure, but they said, oh, he's not in shape, there's some things off the court, we don't like his habits, let's move on from him. Everybody's shocked. The chants for firing GM Nico Harrison have been heard throughout social media as well as on the streets in Dallas. I've seen clips of. I've seen it in the arenas, as it was just mentioned a second ago. And it's no surprise when you move a young franchise cornerstone like Luka Doncic for not really getting back the value. You're not a team that needed to move a guy like that, and you don't even get better by getting Anthony Davis. Your defense might. Did they need a big? Absolutely not. They have Daniel Gafford as well as Derek Lively II. Lively, I think I have a lot of hope in him becoming a, not all-star necessarily, but a fringe all-star player with the right pieces around him. Kyrie Irving looked great over there, scoring the basketball, playmaking a little bit as well. And then we had PJ Washington starting to come into his own. He can be streaky at times, and they definitely needed a better power forward option. But I don't think that was Anthony Davis. I mean, they needed more spacing, and Davis doesn't provide that. He is not a better floor spacer than PJ Washington overall, and you didn't upgrade anything in that situation at all. They got Najee Marshall, I think, who's been very solid for them. Dinwiddie's been up and down, having to play and shoot more due to injuries. But they had a very good team with Luka Doncic there and just happened to ruin it by acquiring Anthony Davis and Max Christie. The only person of the two in that trade that I think provides a very positive change is Max Christie, but that would be only if you were not trading Luka Doncic. Christie was having a solid season over there with the Lakers, but you'd like for him to come off the bench as a role player and kind of be a backup to Klay Thompson, not really have him start or have Anthony Davis replace Luka Doncic. It's still puzzling to me. And yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think about that down in the comment section below. Players on both the Mavericks and Lakers recognize the importance of the moment for Doncic, who moved to the States as a teenager and grew up in Dallas. Anthony Davis even noted that Dallas still loves him, which underlines the connection Doncic still has with the Dallas community. And I don't really know how Dallas feels about Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis broke his silence on the trade and talked about how he likes the situation that he's currently in, which was a little bit strange, but good to see that he's optimistic about things. And we actually covered that video here on this channel, so make sure to check that one out too if you'd like some more backstory towards the Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis trade. This was an absolutely historic performance by Luka, and I'm glad that I got to catch up with it there this morning. Let me know if you get to watch the game and what you think about this or just the situation in Dallas or even for the Lakers. Let me know what you think about all this down below in the comment section. This has been your host, Joey Mercer. That's all I've got to say on this topic here today. Make sure to go down below, like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for notifications, and every single time we upload, you'll be able to stay up to date with our takes on the NBA here on Joe Mercer Sports Podcast. This has been your host, Joey Mercer, as always, and I'll see you in the next video.